Identified Gamers, round 2 of Kuroshiro Gaming's Demon King Challenge Tournament happened today, and I got to play once again. So if you're unfamiliar, last time I made a video where I played Hunter in a tournament for the very first time, and I went up against like an insane team. There were literal co-op players and top 10 survivors on that team. The skill gap was absolutely insane. And I got destroyed, bro. I stood no chance against that team. I need like a couple more years before I'm ready to take on a team like that. So I fell down into the losers bracket today, which would hopefully make things a little easier, right? Because, you know, with both teams losing, maybe the skill levels will be a bit more matched. And that is actually what happened today. So today we're going to watch my second round in the tournament to see how things went. Keep in mind that if I don't win this round, I am now out of the tournament. So here is the team that I'm up against. We first have one member here that has only been Griffin 4, which I believe this team was quite stretched out when it came to their current rankings. But I believe this is the lowest ranked player on the team. They do really like Composer, which was a little bit scary for me because Nightwatch versus Composer is... It's fine for Nightwatch, but like the speed boost that Composer can get, especially with full kite in a good route, can actually be pretty dangerous sometimes, and I was not going to go Opera today after what happened last time. And this is their second player, all-time high as an Ally 1, and currently a Griffin 1 right now. And this is definitely more like at the pace of where my Hunter game is, because the highest Hunter rank I've ever been is Dragon 0 stars. So this is like, now we're starting to get into people that are a bit more like close to my rank. And as you can see, once again here we have an all-time high Champion 3, currently Alicorn, and they've been practicing Postman, it looks like. So once again, we have people that are just matching my sort of current skill level with Hunter. Except they do have one really scary player here called Jojo P, which I think I've actually run into like a couple times in rank before. And I knew that this was the strongest player on the team. Not just because they're a champion, but just because I recognize their name. And 44 stars peak tier survivor. That is quite good. So pretty much going into this, my thought was, okay, I chase anybody that isn't JoJo, because if I chase JoJo, I'm gonna get cooked. But if nothing else, instead of going up against literal co-op pros and like top 10 survivors, this should be more around my level of skill as hunters. So I feel like the playing field is a little more even, maybe even slightly in my favor this time. All right, onward to the first match. I banned out Mechanic, Seer, Priest, and Antiquarian just like I did yesterday because those characters are very scary in the current meta. And they picked Officer, Painter, Prisoner, and Enchantress, and I picked Chinatown as the map. They banned out Lakeside. I was planning on going Goatman for round 1, actually, because my Opera after yesterday clearly was not good enough, and if I didn't get like a good ping, I didn't want to have to risk it. Especially against a comp like this that's really annoying for Opera, honestly. So, because it was Chinatown, and because these characters aren't exactly super strong versus Nightwatch, I decided to go for my boy Ithaca this time. Ithaca round 1. Because against this comp, he can actually do something if the survivors aren't just like insanely cracked. Because Chinatown is like, in my opinion, it's his best map. But yeah, the reason why I didn't want to go Goatman is because if Prisoner shocks, that's 1 cage kited. If Enchantress shocks, that's one cage kited. If Painter drops a pain, that's 1 cage kited. That's simply too difficult to deal with for me. Now, as we can see, the builds are a little interesting. They put their strongest kiter on Prisoner, which does make sense, because, you know, you'd want to chase a Prisoner, but I'm not chasing Jojo P, dude. I'm not chasing a Prisoner with full kite and hotel, dude. That's a walking 3-cipher kite right there, especially versus me. So I knew not to chase Jojo P at any point. We have Officer mid with Baratime Tide, full kite Priz at hotel with full kite, yes, just like I just said, doofus. We have Tide Painter. I was actually surprised to see Tide Painter when it happened in the match. I think it did in the match. I think I saw Tide Painter. I was really confused about it because Tide Painter is not very common, but I guess Atako was very confident here. And then a Baratime knee-jerk build from Mayonnaise here. So only one no BT here. Which isn't really so bad. The double tide is like going to be really good for a draw. But of course, it's Nightwatch on Chinatown, so I'm like, okay, I'm pretty sure I can get a draw if I chase Enchantress, because Enchantress is kind of weak in the current meta. She's kind of 50-50 versus Nightwatch, but I've played so much Nightwatch that I sort of know how to play around her. And one quick thing I have to mention before we get into this, I'm also up against, I believe this is a team, like a French team, and I think a lot of them do have yellow ping. My ping was 73 in both matches, so I didn't have like 10 ping or anything like that, which was good for me. But I do kind of feel bad because apparently everybody here has like relatively yellow ping, like 100 something ping, which is kind of unfortunate, which gives me a bit of an advantage in the ping department. But Enchantress did not drop a pallet there at the start, which was actually really, really bad for her because that just meant it led to a free hit because I still had my slow in active. I see the speed boost from the knee jerk on that window, so there's no point in me vaulting it with a speed boost as well because that won't really do anything for me. Here, I decided to use the speed boost, and I know she has to drop a pallet here. What I really wanted to do was catch her mid-vault, but I didn't think she would vault that early, and then she was able to complete the vault, get the knee jerk speed boost, and I thought I'd be able to get a hit on her here, but she does have another stun ready, so yeah, this is what I mean when Ithaca versus Nightwatch, or Ithaca versus Nightwatch, bro, what? Ithaca versus Enchantress is kind of 50-50. I still think it's Nightwatch advantage, but that's just if you don't know how to play her on the Enchantress, because if she cancels your wind, you have nothing to work with for 13 seconds, because the whole point of Nightwatch is you need to use your wind to get more wind stacks, and if she cancels that, oh, it's bad, bro. It is bad. Even getting your wind canceled once as Nightwatch can hurt so bad. So it's a pretty long kite. They're pretty much halfway done with the ciphers, thanks to Prisoner Cypher Rush. So at this point, I'm like, okay, I'm in a decent draw position. I don't think I can win this right now. This is a decent draw position. As long as I just get like a good hit on the Rescuer here, I should be fine. So I know the Rescuer can either come from one or two ways. This way over here, or right behind me through middle. They're not going to come all the way around because Officer was at mid. And I just start swinging randomly. I figure if he's going to come through the middle, he's going to have to go through this little path or walk around, which means he might not be able to get to Enchantress in time. So he was a little late, that's what I'm saying. Officer had to come in a little sooner. This chair back here is really, really good for hunters because it takes so long to get to, and there's not really much rebound potential. Now, I think Enchantress made a huge mistake by running towards the Officer here because I clearly know where she's going. I know she's going to go down that little mid pathway, which means she's going to end up pretty close to where the Officer is. Officer does pop a watch, but luckily for me, I hit him in time with a charge attack, and he doesn't get the juke off. So that's a double down in both watches forced out, which is actually really, really good for me. Now, at this point, I'm expecting the Prisoner to come in because when things go wrong, you send in your best player. So I thought Jojo P was going to come in, but it turns out Atako came in. That's why, like I was saying, I was expecting a flywheel there. And then when I saw Tide, I was like, huh? But I was like, hold on, I can take advantage of this. If there's Tide anyway, let me do this. Boop. With the painter, and then I can warp down onto the Enchantress because I actually had Nostalgic. My build on this was 0 pallet break. I had Detention, Insolence, Control Freak, Rage, Desperate Fight, and Nostalgic, because Nostalgic plus Warp is a really, really good combo. As you look at how fast I am right now. Control Freak plus Windwalk Speed Boost is a 34% speed boost. It's so fast, dude. It's so fast. So I noticed something right here. Oh, look at that. They're Cypher locked. Because I was chasing in this corner the entire time and putting pressure into this area the entire time, this makes things very, very easy to pressure down. This is one of the most underrated things about Chinatown that people don't really consider is the fact that the Cypher layout, especially on this side of the map, it is so common for Cyphers to spawn over here. And with Ithaca, I can actually pressure down the last 3 Cyphers very easily. So right now, that's what I'm planning on doing. I'm going to let them finish that Cypher all the way over there, and I'm just kind of whittling them down, because I know the Prisoner has to go back to that Cypher. So I leave the Painter. There's literally no point in chasing him here, because there's no Cyphers. And I'm like, okay, I got to get this Prisoner off the Cypher. But again, this is Jojo P, their best kiter. I don't want to chase their best kiter. So I just break the connection. I know the Officer has to come in or get healed. So I go back to the other Cypher, because why would I chase their strongest kiter when I could chase the Painter instead and pressure down the Cypher at the same time? And unfortunately, I don't know if that's a ping moment, but they did not get that painting out. Again, I don't know if that's ping moment or just panic indecision right there, but they were unable to drop the painting there. And they could have dropped it right here. I'm surprised they didn't, but I think they wanted to save it for a potential rebound. So this, again, is really good for me because I get to chair right next to the Cypher that the Painter was working on. I know that Prisoner and Officer have to be around this Cypher to start healing, but I didn't think they were going to be this close. I honestly thought they'd be a little further out, so I thought, oh, I'll break a pallet while I have some time. I was like, if I am going to be stuck in this area, I want them to have as little resources as possible. So I looked where the Prisoner is, and then Officer comes in instead. He was hiding behind that wall, which was really, really smart. do a couple of swings, although I can't hit him, unfortunately, just because he's a little faster than I thought he would be. And then there was a huge mistake right there. The painter, I think, panicked once again, putting down the painting, and that actually made it so I could cancel my attack recovery with the painting. And because the Enchantress kited here, there's no more pallets, which makes things very, very easy for me. And I can once again chair this painter. And I actually didn't know if the officer had no self-heal or not. But I was kind of taking like a bit of a gamble because I was like, okay, if Officer self-heals, I can just go for him and hit him down again. And if he does have self-heal, or if he doesn't have it, I can just leave him on the ground and just completely focus all of my energy onto making sure this prisoner will come out. So I'm just kind of angling my camera to both sides, checking both areas. I'm trying to bait out a flywheel here. Jojo P does not fall for it, it seems. And I'm just taking my time. I realize, if Officer's not getting up, he probably has no self-heal, right? So I'm just like, okay, well, this is Painter's last chair. I'll just go for the farm. But the prisoner gets a really, really good body block. But again, at the end of the day, they don't have the ciphers, and I have all the pressure in the world, because this is one of the biggest things that Night Watch lacks as a hunter is map pressure. But when you're cipher locked on a map like Chinatown with very little resources to use, Night Watch can finally excel, and I get the prisoner down, and that is going to be the match. So we actually got the win. A little bit of luck on my end, and I think there was quite a few mistakes being made from the survivors as well. But I also don't think I played that badly either. So I think it was just more of a big kind of compilation of decent plays from my end. I think I definitely could have played a lot better in certain areas, especially the initial first chase was kind of bad, honestly. But it was really just taking advantage of the ciphers being so close together. It was the reason why I won. So that was awesome. I feel good about actually getting a win this time, honestly, because oh man, last time it was a train wreck, dude. It was a train wreck. So moving on to round 2, the survivors actually banned out my Geisha, which is interesting because I've been practicing Geisha recently. Little do they know, I don't even own Geisha on my main account, so I couldn't have even played Geisha if I wanted to. Oh, it's so funny. I haven't even played her yet. But I think the chat kind of influenced that because so many people were thinking I was gonna pick Geisha because I've been practicing her. But I was like, this is tourney, bro. I'm not gonna play my Geisha. My Geisha's nowhere near ready. I've only practiced her for like 3 days. They think my Geisha's tourney ready already. So I banned Mexir Priestess, and I forgot to ban the last one. I think people figured I was just kind of giving it to them. No, I literally just forgot. And when I see this comp, I'm like, okay. I was really upset to see the Enchantress because, again, I wanted to go Goatman, right? But I see Composer, Finn, Meteor. I'm like, okay, Composer and Finn get absolutely destroyed by Goatman. Meteor is like, I haven't really tested it, but I feel like it's fine. Not the best, but it's fine. Enchantress, though, Enchantress is going to be a big problem for Goatman. I don't want to chase the Enchantress. I'm kind of sitting to myself like, maybe I should have banned Enchantress. I don't know. I think if I still had that ban, I would have played... I would have banned Antiquarian regardless. So this time, though, I decide, let's see. I don't have any other hunters. I'm not going to go Sangria. My Sangria got worked last time, got 4 escape last time ever sleeping. I messed up like 15 dashes. So instead, I decide to go the Goatman because Goatman is way easier to play than Opera Singer, especially at 73 MS because I had 73 MS in the first game. So I'm like, okay, this team I'm gonna have 73 MS with. I can't go Opera. I have to go Goatman this time. So I go for a typical spawn here. I think they wanted to protect the Enchantress. I don't really know why they're spawning Corner House. I was kind of gambling that the Composer would spawn Corner House, but once I saw this, I came up with a game plan instantly because Enchantress is gonna stay Corner House. That's fine. Finn has to move to the right to get the cipher. He literally has to. Either that or he has to stay there. So I know Finn is going to go either stay there or move to the right. But he might be scared depending on where I'll go at the start with rotation. So I decide, okay, I'm going to chase the Meteorologist mid at the start, and then I'm going to move to the Composer. Because I know the Composer has to go up. Because by spawning on the left, I lock off Graveyard, so he can't go Graveyard. He has to go up to find a cipher. So I can take advantage of that. And I can walk toward Jojo P, keep them off the ciphers for a while I build up my cage energy, and then move toward the Composer. That was my game plan going into this. And here begins the match. I believe Kuroshiro's face cam does block a little bit of the cipher progress. I want to say that he moves it later, but I'm not entirely sure. But as you can see here, builds, we have quite a few interesting builds. 3 no BT characters. We have a tied Flywheel Finn, Full Kite Composer, tied Flywheel Meteorologist, and then Enchantress with Borrowed Time and Knee Jerk. So Yeah, only one BT on the team. Again, I successfully do the strategy I just told you about, where I walk mid. And because Meteorologist moved to the right, that 100% made me understand that Composer was over here. Because why would you run toward your teammate Cypher? Especially a strong player like Jojo P would never kite on their teammate Cypher. So I instantly knew, okay, Composer has to be up. So I go to chase the Composer here. And as you can see, my cage energy, my resentment is all the way full now. So I can just start spamming cages, like without even having to think, because I have so much energy right now. Misses a flywheel because, again, he's probably on yellow ping, unfortunately for this Composer. So again, there is a bit of luck. And then I think right here, he gets an unfortunate slow vault. Now, I think regardless of the slow vault or not, I think Goatman cage would have allowed me to get that hit anyway. It's just unfortunate that it was a slow vault, so it's a Terror Shock, which means I build up a little more presence. But I would have gotten that hit, I'm pretty sure, regardless of the slow vault or not, because of Goatman cage debuff, or vaulting debuff inside cage. So I know Meteor's gonna come on in here, and I figure, okay, Meteor's pretty common with Tide. So I'm kind of expecting the Meteorologist to have Tide here. And I realize, oh, she's not hugging the pallet. I'll just swing at her. Just force a pretty early rescue. Because, again, this is a pretty early rescue. But it needs to happen. And I saw, okay, well, there is Tide on the Meteor. And I try to potentially go for the Meteor to force out item real quick. But I was like, I'm not going to lose track of this Composer. I'm not going to get super greedy. Because every time I get greedy, I tend to lose. And I'm Goatman. I can always just pressure down Cypher's late game really well. So I decided to just continue going after the Composer. Drop another Peeper mid so they can't work on it for free. And then now I have to chair the Composer once again. Yeah, okay, there Kuroshiro moves the thing away from the Cypher progress. So I chair mid because there's a lot of different Cyphers I can pressure. The Meteorologist uses a bottle to heal herself, which is very smart. Make it so my damage control is kind of gone. I move a cage over here because I knew my resentment was pretty high, and I just drop a Peeper on that Cypher if Finn goes back to it. I knew Finn was coming into the rescue. Tried to lock him up, didn't get it, unfortunately, so instead I have to just go for a basic swing, force an earlier rescue, but Composer goes down that way, which is poor communication from their end, which means he doesn't get any distance, and I get the down on him pretty easily. So he decides to use his tuning fork just to die off in a corner, and this is where I make a bit of a mistake, but I look at the Cyphers, I'm like, okay, they're working on Dancing Geisha and Graveyard, and I realize, if I let them finish those two Cyphers, the last three are mid, two-story mid, and island. Which means, guess what? They're somewhat Cypher locked again. Especially for a Goatman. I can pressure these last Cyphers so well. So I saw Finn show up on my Peeper, and I kind of figured, okay, Finn's going to run to Corner House. Corner House is the strongest area. He's definitely going to run to Corner House. So I drop a Peeper mid, just in case they come back. And I try to go to Corner House, because I think he's going to be up there waiting at the window, right? That was my idea. I still have Tinnitus all this time, which I'm kind of surprised, because I don't think the Finn was that close. And I drop a cage because I just have enough energy to do so, and then I realize, okay, well, if he didn't go this way, he must have gone this way. I did not expect Finn to rotate into his team, which was actually a really good rotation, because it bought them so much time, and they finished the last two Cyphers. And now we're Cypher locked again, so we're on these last ones. I didn't actually mean to go through the cage, I just meant to break it, but I was kind of a bit of a doofus move there. So I'd see no Cyphers shaking, and I'm just like, okay, at this point in the game, I know that they gotta like be healing and playing it slow, but if I can just wither them out and go for a Cypher control, damage control kind of gameplay, I should be fine. This is the type of games that I really like to play, where I just focus on them not getting any Cypher progress done. This is the way I love playing IDV, is pressuring Cyphers constantly and switching targets constantly. So as you can see here, I'm still going after the Enchantress, get a quick hit on her, but I'm not gonna go after her because I want to pressure these Cyphers. Finn's right here, and I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna go for the Finn now. And the Finn has Flywheel. And I was like, oh, okay, so I guess he has Flywheel. It's so funny because the Meteorologist uses Flywheel later, and I recognize, she has Flywheel Tide. But for some reason, my brain just didn't register the fact that the Finn also had Flywheel Tide. I completely forgot that he had Tide, so I thought he also had Borrowed. So that's interesting. And so I'm just like, okay, I'll just break the balls, make it so he can't really kite too long. I know that they're working on these Cyphers, and Enchantress is right here, so I can get her with a good sneaky cage, and boop! And unfortunately for the Enchantress, she misses the stun, which allows me to get the down with a tap recovery cancel, and start pressuring these Cyphers. Because I know Finn has to get the rescue, I know Meteorologist is over here, and I just pretend, I think later I pretended it. I did want to drop a Peeper first, just for Cypher control. I know Finn has to come in, so I start pressuring both things, making them scared, I'm trying to force the Meteorologist off the Cypher, but she tries to break the Peeper instead. And I noticed that the Meteorologist was playing very passively, so I didn't think she was going to drop the the pallet there. So I just kind of walked on through it. Plus, if the risk reward is in my favor. So I see that these two are at mid. I go to start pressuring it, and I'm pretty much just like going back and forth, putting down peepers on the ciphers over and over and over again. I realize that they're too far for me to commit to, so I think I start going back to the meteorologist here. I think a double cage with 15 meters should do the trick right here. Let's see. 1, 2, there it is. And then it's right here where I was kind of, I don't think I waited out the flywheel on purpose. I think I just got a little bit lucky because I was being patient for some reason. I don't remember why I was being patient, but I didn't go for like an instant swing, which was really good because that meant I was able to force out that flywheel. And once I saw flywheel, I was like, hold on, you got no borrowed time. If I just make sure you go down, I can 3K no matter what. So that's kind of my goal right now. Is like, because if I 3K, I win, and I'm not here to get greedy. I mean, I'm gonna try to get a 4K if I can, but I know if I just keep going for this meteorologist, she has no borrowed time, which is my win condition. That is literally my win condition 100%. And I know that this meteor wants to keep pressuring that cipher, so I see, oh, she went back to the cage, let me just break it. Because if I break the cage there, she's farther away from the island cipher, and I can just focus on pressuring mid. So I pretend to go mid, and then I realize they're gonna go back to that cipher. So I switch targets again, block them off of the pallet, but then they get a really good cage break in time. I was actually really impressed. I can't believe they got that in time. That was just a really, really smart idea from Jojo P. They're healing up the Enchantress as well. And then I think I just drop a peeper right here because I have no cage energy. And we do a little bit of a pallet mind game, but with the peeper, it's 100% in my favor. And I realize, well, I can just keep going to pressure the cipher because I know the meteorologist has no borrowed. So if they pop, I just come back and kill the meteorologist. So I go over there. Unfortunately, they are able to pop because I hit the one with no BT. Or with BT, so that was kind of unfortunate. But at the same time, I'm like, well, this is fine because I know the meteorologist has no borrowed time. I can just pick her up. I see the Finn is running towards that gate. He has no items. And I'm like, okay, well, this is fine because if I chair on this gate, they're forced to open up the other gate. The Finn will be right here. I can 3K. I guarantee 3K this. And if Enchantress isn't on the other gate, which is the case, I still 3K. So I just set up a wall for the Finn. He flywheels, which is a good flywheel. And then Goatman hitbox decides to be Goatman hitbox. And that's it. That's it. So I break the cage, drop a peeper, check over here for tinnitus. I notice I have no tinnitus. And I'm like, okay, that's it. That's 3K. That is a 3K. And I win this round in the tournament. Or this set in the tournament, which is... honestly feels a lot better than last time. It feels way, way, way better because I got absolutely destroyed this time. So I got the 3K, and then I decided to have a little bit of fun with Listen at the very end. I don't think I would swap to Listen if it was like a real competitive tournament, but you know, Kuroshiro advertises as a tournament for fun. So I decided, I'll have a little bit of fun. Let's swap to Listen there at the very end. So yeah, that's how that went. And you know, I was pretty happy that I was able to get the win this time. So there we go. That was my second set in the Demon King tournament, which means I will be playing in week 2 about 2 weeks from now. I believe on the 22nd and 23rd is when the tournament ends, and I'll be moving on to the next round, which I'm pretty excited for. I'm very, very excited to see how those matches will go, because I want to keep playing. You know, the longer I get to play, the more experience I get, and the more fun I can have. And I think that's like the thing that I like most out of tournaments is I just want to play. I know it's like kind of generic sounding, but like we want to win because we want to keep playing, and if you can't win, you cannot play anymore. And that's the thing. It's like if I can't win, I can't play anymore. I'll be out of the tournament. That's sad. Which leads to less overall experience, you know. So I don't know. I was really happy that I was able to get the win this time. I do feel a little bit bad that it had to be against yellow ping survivors. So I definitely had the advantage going into this set, especially with the ping diff and some of the survivors being like. I think one of them was like only Griffin 4 or something like as their max. So that was definitely a bit of an advantage for me. But you know, there was a couple strong players in there as well that I had to watch out for. So I think it was overall a little more balanced, but still slightly in my favor, mostly due to the ping. So a bit unfortunate about that, but I was still really happy that I was able to pick up the win this time. And you know, maybe next time we'll be going up against a very, very strong team. Hopefully not ICU again. I really don't want to fight them again. I don't want to fight those co-op pros again. I mean, I do, but like, I'd get destroyed, you know? It would be nice to fight them again. For the experience, at least, for the experience. But yeah, GG's. It was fun. I'm happy to play again in 2 weeks. I'll see you all then. Thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.